Chief?
Let me start. Tom Arkoff, Osseo Truth, Chief. Kind of wound up since I heard that you put this on the agenda today at the last minute and kind of slid it in there, so we didn't really have time to prepare. So by the time I get done, you'll probably think Mr. Lee is a man of few words. I guess I'm really curious as to why, Mr. Mayor, you've been mayor since 10 months or better, and in that time you've never once sat down with me to have a conversation about our police department. And I don't know where you're getting your information from, but I don't understand why you wouldn't have come to me, your police chief, and discussed this before you started talking to other people. And I have no idea why you put this on today at such a late date. You had a meeting at the American Legion. The sheriff was invited. I was not. I didn't find out about it until like the night before. I was out of town for the weekend and heard that you passed out flyers, and that's how people knew about it. And I think that meeting was very misleading. I was there. Unfortunately, I was directed not to speak at that meeting because it was not a city-sponsored event. You put out there, you had a PowerPoint, you put out there that the city of Osseo has to spend $1.5 million for a new police building. That's not true. But everybody was made to believe that they have to spend $1.5 million on a new police station. A thorough study was done by an engineering crew. It was determined there was 3 options, and that is not something we have to do. That would be kind of the Taj Mahal of what we could do, and it would last the city for many, many years. But to say that that's what we had to do was misleading. The other thing you had up there was that we replace our squad cars every 2 years. It makes people think that we're replacing all our cars every 2 years. That's not true. We keep our squad cars 4 years. The one that I drive pretty regularly is 6 years old. So the thought that we're wasting money and that we have to spend all this money, I think, is totally wrong. As we talked in the work session, if we come up with a new building, it's something that could be possibly paid by grants and not something that the city's going to have to totally take care of. And I'm not sure where you were last year when this whole discussion went to the Public Safety Advisory Committee. It went to the full council less than a year ago, and it was determined that we had a number of residents and business owners come to the meetings. They came to the council meeting and they said, we want to keep our Osseo Police Department. If it costs more, so be it. We want to keep it, raise our taxes. That's the voice that I heard last year. I'm not hearing people say, well, gee, we should look into it because it's going to save us a few dollars. Look at getting rid of our police department. And you made mention earlier that maybe we don't need 24-hour coverage. Maybe we don't need people here from 2 in the morning till 7. It just basically made it sound like all we do that time of night is help people that fell in their bathtubs get back up. The police department does a whole lot more than that. And when you've got some crazed person trying to kick in a door at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning because of whatever reason, you want somebody who's going to get there now, not somebody who's maybe coming from Greenfield or the Greenfield-Rockford border and maybe take 10, 15, 20 minutes to get there. I think what you need to do is ask the residents what they want. We're talking about sending out a questionnaire. They're the ones that spend all their nights here. They live in this city, and they're the ones that we're taking care of. The sheriff's office, their building is close, but you don't know how many people they have on at any given time. I believe at that meeting the sheriff said he had 800 deputies crisscrossing Osseo every day. Well, a lot of those 800 are locked up in the jail for their shift. Others are in a lot of different divisions. The actual patrol division that has the people that are totally trained to assist people on the police calls and not other duties really is pretty minimal. of what the sheriff has on right now. And yes, if you contract, you could get a squad car designated for Osseo, and they would have one. But then if something happens where they need help, I think that car is going to disappear. I don't think they're just going to leave it in Osseo. And I really don't want to take away anything from the sheriff's office. I was there a lot more years than Sheriff Stanek is. I was there over 29 years. They're a great organization. It's just I don't know that that's what the residents of Osseo want. And you're not going to eliminate the police budget. What I'm getting here, and I think what they're trying to put out to the residents is, we spend so much for the Osseo police. Well, we can get rid of them and have the sheriff. You still got to pay for the sheriff. So what savings you're going to save, I think, is minimal. And when you look down the road in 2 years or so, and you look at a new contract, what's the sheriff going to charge then? If you disband the police department, you won't have any equipment. You'll never be able to start up again. It just will be too cost prohibitive. And then once you do that, then you're at the sheriff's mercy or whoever else decides to contract. If they want to raise the price, you're going to have to pay it, or you're going to get a lot less hours, or there's going to be somebody, an actual squad car in town. That's just the way it's going to be. It may be great for the first year or two, maybe wonderful. It wouldn't surprise me, but it's not going to last. So you save a few dollars for a year or two, and then it goes. The events that we have, it costs the Osseo Police Department, and I'm about 90% sure that the Osseo police officers make less money than a Hannibal County deputy does. It cost us $5,000 in salaries just for Lions Roar. Is the sheriff going to do that for the same amount of people without adding to that cost of that contract? Alcohol and tobacco compliance checks that we do. There's a lot of things we do that probably aren't written into that contract, and I just don't see it all happening as an even amount or actually losing. And I guess another question is, the sheriff talks about contracts that they have. When I was in the sheriff's office, we had contracts at the City of Greenfield. At that time, it was about 4 hours a week. I truly don't know what it is today. We did 2 or 3 hours a week in Hanover. I believe it was 3 or 4 hours a week in the city of Medicine Lake. They weren't 24-hour coverage contracts. And as far as I know, I don't believe the sheriff has had a new contract probably in over 20 years. And if it's that great a deal, why isn't everybody jumping on the bandwagon and going with the sheriff's office? I think we have maybe a little prejudice. I think we have a great police department. And I think the sheriff's office is wonderful. They do a great job. They also, you talk about sheriff's services, I think we're already doing that. The sheriff's office does our investigations. They have the crime lab to do that for us, so we don't have to outsource this. And the city is paying tax dollars to the sheriff, so they should get something back. But he's not going to put a car in here for free. It's not going to, that 38% of the budget or whatever, it isn't going to disappear. It's still going to be there. It may be a couple dollars less. I don't know. And before anybody starts rumors, we have 3 of our officers here. They are on their own time. They're concerned about what's going on, and that's why they're here. So we're not wasting money paying their salary right now so they can be at this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.